Okay, so you guys have been working on your concept maps for Durkheim, and you've put together in a variety of different ways the concepts that Durkheim lays out for us. And what I wanted to do is to show you my own concept map, both to show you again how you can use these concept maps, that is how you can develop them, and as well to try and sort of bring together all the concepts that we have from Durkheim, and you can sort of take your own concept map and look at it in relationship to this one and see if there are places where you need to maybe adjust your own. That's not to say that I have the perfect concept map or that there's only one right concept map. There's multiple ways to actually put these concepts together into a coherent whole. That said, you can kind of use this as a bit of a guide for your own map. So I'm going to kind of walk back through each of the different concepts, building up the concept map, and then I'll run back through it again just to make sure that you captured it all. So if you think about it again, Durkheim's basic question is one of social order. How is it that societies organize into a coherent whole? That is, how is it this thing, social order, gets produced? How do societies become stable social orders over time? And if you remember, Hobbes gives us a distinctive answer built around the social contract, and Durkheim says, no, that is not how societies develop into coherent wholes. The key thing that produces social order for Durkheim is social solidarity, the bonding of individuals to one another and to society as a whole. But he says there's two distinctive ways in which social solidarity gets produced. One happens in pre-modern societies, and then we see another way in which social solidarity happens in modern societies. In pre-modern societies, we have mechanical solidarity. Mechanical solidarity is one side of the coin to organic solidarity, which is happening in modern societies. I want you to see both of these as non-material social facts. These are things you can't observe. You don't observe the level or type of social solidarity in a given society. You have to look for material social facts that tell you and clue you into how social solidarity is being produced. So let's start then with mechanical solidarity. The fundamental way in which solidarity is produced in pre-modern societies, that is the way in which mechanical solidarity operates, is through the collective consciousness. Remember, in those societies, there's a very small division of labor. Everybody is basically waking up and doing the same things over and over as one another, so there's not a lot of social differentiation. And the entire society is held together through that similarity, and everyone shares in the collective consciousness, this particular way of viewing and understanding the world, putting together the world, a shared moral framework about the world, and so on. But again, we can't actually see the collective consciousness. That too is a non-material social fact. What we can see are collective representations. These are the material social facts that clue us into the collective consciousness. So in those early totemistic societies, the totem was a collective representation through which we could see and visualize the existence of a collective consciousness. Right? You might think of the American flag in our own society as a collective representation of the underlying collective consciousness of something to do with freedom and liberty. Right? So it is through collective representations that we can see the existence of a collective consciousness that is holding society together through mechanical solidarity. Now, in modernity, there's a transition that takes place, the transition into modernity, through which the collective consciousness itself begins to break down, and we get what Durkheim calls organic solidarity. And this comes about through the division of labor. So no longer do we have single sort of isolated social groups segmented from one another, each having their own distinctive collective consciousness and only interacting with one another. Now you bring all of those different social groups into one place inside of Paris, for example, in Durkheim's day, right? all of them doing different things in that society, right? So we get a specialized division of labor. This weakens the collective consciousness. Now you see that there are different people who have different norms and ways of thinking and doing, right? And so this weakens the existence of a collective consciousness. And so what holds society together then is this specialized division of labor. Each of us become functionally interdependent upon other members of the society. And again, that key word is functional interdependence. We become locked in an interdependent relationship where I need you and you need me. All right? And that's what the division of labor is doing to produce social solidarity. Now, why does that division of labor arise in the first place? Durkheim tells us it's because of the sort of emergence of dynamic density. Right? And this is the culmination of two basic factors of more people together in physical proximity to one another, interacting and socializing. Right? So you have more people and more interaction between those people together to produce this dynamic density that generates the division of labor and brings us into modernity. Again, the dynamic density is the material social fact through which we can see the rise of the division of labor. Right? And in the division of labor, you should remember Durkheim goes into different types of law as material social facts, and this is just a different way of sort of thinking about it. So dynamic density, you can see the number of people and the level of social interaction between them, and that clues you into the rise of a division of labor and the birth of organic solidarity. So again, just to kind of walk back through the key problem here that Durkheim gives us is social order. Social order is made possible because of social solidarity. There are two types of social solidarity. Mechanical solidarity exists within pre-modern societies. Organic solidarity in modern societies. These are non-material social facts. Right? Mechanical solidarity is bound together through the collective consciousness. We know of the collective consciousness through the collective representations that highlight that for us. There's a transition from mechanical to organic solidarity. That is the transition to modernity for Durkheim, in which the collective consciousness becomes weakened with the rise of the division of labor, which comes about through dynamic density within societies. So that, in a nutshell, is my own concept mapping of Durkheim. This is a way of, again, putting together all these concepts to sort of illustrate and make sense of the whole argument that Durkheim is telling. So use your own concept maps as you go forward to make sense of Durkheim.